Small and mid-sized manufacturing and distribution companies have pretty unique needs when it comes to their technology, but what exactly are those differences and nuances you need to consider? That's what we'll talk about here today. My name is Eric Kimberling. I'm the CEO of Third Stage Consulting. We're an independent consulting firm that helps clients throughout the world reach the third stage of digital transformation success. And much of the work we do is with small and mid-sized manufacturing and distribution companies. And with me, joining me today is our Associate Director, Nate Stroher from Third Stage. Nate, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
So to start, Nate, you work with a lot of our small and mid-sized manufacturing and distribution clients. You're responsible for the teams that are doing selections and implementations for that group. What are some of the reasons why you see small and mid-market manufacturing distribution companies wanting to replace their core technology?
I think they're the two biggest reasons. That first of all, it's trying to streamline an organization, whether they're positioned for growth or whether they're just trying to make what they're doing more efficient. Most of our clients and our prospective clients come to us with a really heavy dependence on spreadsheets, obviously QuickBooks, and some of the older ERP or financial packages. And it's really just an attempt to get the organization streamlined and put them in a position, either they're in a hyper growth position or they want to get to that position, and it's really trying to streamline their operations. And then second, and probably more importantly, is to take advantage or to position themselves for new technology that they'll be implementing, whether it's a new order system, a new CRM, a new HR system. Having that technology on top of the older technology just doesn't make a lot of sense. So it's just an attempt or a chance to really put everything on the same playing field as far as technology.
Yeah. Now, when a smaller mid-market manufacturer or distribution company is going through that process you just described and trying to figure out how they're going to use technology to make those improvements, how do their needs and the way they would tackle an ERP project, how is it different for them versus a large manufacturer?
Well, I think that, once again, we'll go to kind of the two differences. And I think the first one is the resources that they have available. If you look at a larger organization, they'll have potentially one or two people that can work on the project full time outside of their day-to-day job. A small organization is typically going to have 10 people that all have their day jobs that all need to work on these projects as well. So they run into the challenge of trying to allocate their resources and really get the right people working on the project, making the decisions on the project that should be making it while keeping the organization running. I think second, and probably more important, is where they're coming from and where they're going to. When you're coming from an Excel-based or a QuickBooks-based platform and you're trying to implement this technology, you have a lot of cleanup, you have a lot of different moving parts, whereas if you're coming from, our larger organizations are usually coming from an ERP package to a more upgraded package. That step is still difficult, but there's a lot less moving parts, and there's a lot your focus is a lot more there than an organization that's trying to pull all these different parts into one.
Yeah. And another thing too that I think is different with the small and mid-market within manufacturing and distribution is you have, in some ways, so many more options to choose from when it comes to technology. So what are some of the different types of technologies that you typically see the small and mid-sized manufacturing and distribution companies select and implement?
Well, I think like outside of the ERP, you obviously have the ERP or the financial package. And I think it's important even here to say that not always is an ERP, a full-blown ERP, the right answer. It might be a smaller, we've had clients that have turned around and said, you know what, we really need to focus more on our CRM, but we need a solid financial package, not a full-blown ERP. But we really tend to focus on the financial packages, on the ERP packages, and the CRM packages as well. There also is a lot of need for an HRIS package to sit on top of the ERP platform, but when you're talking about the small and the mid-sized companies, they're usually outsourcing that HR, so it's really more of an interface to start off with, but what will that be down the road is what we need to look at.
Yeah. Are there certain vendors on the ERP side that you see more often in small and mid-market manufacturing distribution companies?
You know, we tend to you tend to see kind of the three main players, the Epicors, the Infors, or actually I guess I should say four: Epicors, Infors, Microsoft, and Oracle. But there also are some really good tier 2 packages as well. What we try and tell our clients is don't be scared or don't shy away from the big names, but also don't look down on some of the names that aren't as familiar and some of the packages that aren't as big, because we're kind of finding with all the technology that there's a lot of room to grow up. So we're not, it's not something that we're going to put you into a package and in 3 or 4 years you're going to say, boy, that was great, now we've got to do this all again.
Yeah, we've outgrown it already, and now we've got to redo it.
Yeah, we got to exactly. So I think the nice thing is it's a pretty wide wingspan now. So you're not backing yourself into a corner if you pick a smaller package. However, it is really important to say, let's get the package that's really going to allow us to grow. And the whole reason we're doing this is to take care of that growth and to put us in a position to grow. So let's make sure we're not going to get the technology that 4 years from now is going to limit it again.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what are some of the first steps you recommend to a manufacturer or distribution company that's about to start their journey? They're trying to figure out what direction to go, what their strategy is, what technology or vendors they want to evaluate and choose. What are some tips to just get started on that journey?
I think first and foremost is sit down as an organization. Third stage is really good at guiding an organization, or they can also start this before we're involved. But it's really sitting down and saying, where do you want to be in 1, 3, and 5 years? That 5 years gets a little milky. We try and not focus as much on that, but really on 1 to 3 years, where are we now? Where do we want to be? And how's technology going to get us there? And then I think it's important to take, the second step is to take a look at what technology you have now, and how's that going to enable you to get to where you want to be, or what needs to change to get you to where you want to be. Again, we've had clients that have come through and said we need to change completely our whole technology platform, and in reality they needed to tweak it. They needed to go through and add some new technology, but it wasn't just a complete overhaul. It was really figuring out what's our strategy and how's the technology going to help us get there. So it's really, I think, to sum that up, it's really sitting down and saying, where are we, where do we want to be, and how's technology going to help us get there? Yeah,
it's a great point, because you don't want to invest in technology just for technology's sake. You want to make sure you're getting the value out of it, and it's okay to move slow and to be incremental. You don't have to do a massive big bang overhaul all at once. You can sort of tackle the low-hanging fruit first, and over time adapt to new technology, especially if you're a more conservative, family-owned manufacturing distribution company. That seems to be a common strategy we see with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, good. Well, thanks for sharing your insights today. This is super helpful. So if you're looking for tips and strategies on how to tackle your small and mid-sized manufacturing and distribution strategy for technology, be sure to download our 2025 Digital Transformation Report. It's a report we actually publish each year that contains a number of industry best practices, independent software reviews and rankings, and other tips to help you through your digital transformation journey. So you can download that by scanning the QR code right here, or you can go to the links below. So I hope you found this information useful, and hope you have a great day. That might work best for your small and I need to back up. Yep. Damn it. So close.
Right as she was getting to the sign.